Number 1. One night I was sitting home alone. My parents had gone out to a party and my older brother was sleeping at his friend's house. I was watching my favorite show on the television so that I could get my mind off things. I was midway through the show when I saw a shadow run across the hallway. I quickly got up to turn on the light so I could see if there was anyone or anything hiding in the dark hallway, but nothing was there. I ignored it and went back to watching my show. Suddenly, I heard a blood-curdling scream coming from upstairs. I ran up there to see what or who it could possibly be. Terrified at this point, I searched each room to see if anyone or anything that could have caused it was there. No one was there. Maybe it could have been my neighbor's daughter having another nightmare, I said to myself. I make my way downstairs to notice that the door is wide open. I grab my phone and run out of my house, shutting the door behind me. I dialed my mom's number to explain to her what had just happened. She told me to call the cops, and I told her I would. I didn't, though, and that's something I regret to this day. I told her that I was going to sleep at one of my friend's house because I didn't want to sleep in that house alone. Then I felt something in my hands. I was stepping in a puddle. I quickly looked at my hands. They were covered in blood. A huge blood trail was leading out of my house into my car. What was I supposed to do? If I called the police, they would think I'd hurt someone. I ran to the side of the house where the hose was, and I washed off everything. I took my bike from the front of my house. I don't usually put it away after using it. I bolted away as fast as humanly possible. I called my friend William, and thankfully he let me sleep at his house. The next morning, I got a phone call from my mom. She told me to get home as soon as possible, so I thanked William for letting me stay the night, and then I started biking home. I approached my house to find officers surrounding the premises, caution tape all around my house, allowing no one to enter but the police. I see my mom talking to one of the officers. My mother explains what is happening. Late last night, at around 2 a.m., the neighbors called to complain about a loud scream they heard. They sent the police to come see if everything was alright and to tell me to keep the noise down. The officers had arrived to the scene to find the front door and the patio were covered in blood. They immediately called backup and searched the house. One of the officers had found a skinny, short, old man hiding in the closet of the bedroom. He was holding a bloody knife. The officers quickly cuffed the man and brought him out of the house. The officers kept searching the house to see if they could find anything else. One of the officers walked into the bathroom upstairs and discovered a young girl, the age of 10, with fatal stabbing wounds sitting underwater in the bathtub. Number 2. When I was 13, I had a gorgeous cat named Fudge. Fudge's favorite game was to play hide and seek. Now one night I was playing said game with Fudge on the first floor, and my mom said that it was time for me to go to bed. I did, however, manage to persuade her to let me finish the game. I looked all over the first floor and I couldn't find him anywhere. My mom said to just go to bed and that he'd eventually come out. I went up to my bed on the second floor and got comfortable. After trying to sleep with no success, I started to read, as that always helps me drift off. Now at this point, I must have been reading for about half an hour, when all of a sudden, I hear a sneeze. I thought it was just Fudge, as he liked to hide under the bed occasionally, but then it happened again, so being paranoid, I froze. I managed to muster up the courage to look under my bed. What lay amongst the standard teenage mess was a man with crazy in his eyes. From what I could tell, he had a beard and a cross tattooed on his chest. He had a smile plastered on his face, what I could only describe as the smile the Joker wears. I freaked the fuck out and ran, screaming bloody murder down the stairs to where my mom sat on the couch. At this point, I was screaming, crying, and in the middle of having a panic attack. My mom calmed me down, gave me her phone to dial 911, and being the badass she is, ran to the kitchen to get a knife, and then proceeded to run upstairs, knife in hand. She came down after being there for about 2 minutes and said that the window was wide open and no one was there anymore. Within about a minute of my mum being back downstairs, the police arrived and immediately began to search the room. Basically, he got away, but what the police found still haunts me to this day. They found a cleaver and a rope under my bed. I still wonder how long he was there, and I'm so grateful he sneezed, because if he hadn't, I wouldn't be alive today. Number 3. I was on my longboard at around midnight one night, going to the corner store to get something to drink. After about 30 seconds, I had seen this man standing on the corner of the street. He was right under the street, so I could see what he looked like. He looked like he was maybe in his late 30s. He had this unnerving smile on his face, just staring right into my eyes. I turned away and ignored it. When I got to the store, I made my purchase, and then I walked out to see the very same man I encountered a couple of minutes ago. I ran to the sidewalk and got on my longboard. I rode away as fast as I could, passing by the same spot I had seen him in before. He wasn't there. I looked to my other side to be faced with the man standing right under the streetlight that was on the corner closest to my house. I shouted to him, "What the hell do you want from me?" And he just stood there, smiling. I rode on the complete opposite side of the street from him so I could pass him and get to my house. I made a huge mistake going right into my house. I had my drink and listened to music for an hour or two. Finally getting tired, I decided to go to bed and get some rest. I woke up at around 6 a.m. I looked through the window like I always do to check if it was still dark out, and there was that man again, staring at me right through my window. I screamed and ran to tell my mother, and she called the cops. When they got here, they searched the area, but couldn't find anything. To this day, I can never sleep near a window or go on my longboard past dark. Hello, I just wanted to say I really loved the response I got on my last video. I got 8 likes, which is a lot more than I expected. So thank you a lot for the people who liked and even watched the video. It really means a lot to me. Have a splendid rest tonight.